Hello folks, shintigercurl here, that dude in the straw hat, bringing you yet another wrestling review. I'm of course joined by my faithful cohort and fellow internet superstar, Joe. Say hi, Joe. He had some lemon lime soda. And I'm not kidding this time. Well, I'm out of that sticky costume, so you know what that means. It's time for some Raw. Monday Night Raw. Live from merry old England. Home of the Beatles, particularly Liverpool, home of the Beatles. You don't know who the Beatles are? Then you have a pretty sorry life. But anyway, we're coming to you from the land of tea and crumpets, of cricket, and of course, England's greatest export, Doctor Who. But anyway, what kind of show can we expect? I got my notes. Let's get started. Cena comes out. And the Brits don't want to see him tonight. Yeah. This is Bizarro Land in the King's words. He talks about his upcoming tag match against Awesome Truth with the help of The Rock. Now, of course, the fans aren't really giving them that much play, and he hypes up the fact that The Rock will be at Raw next week, a special 3-hour Raw. Awesome Truth comes out. And they talk about a tag match they have in tonight's main event, which would be them versus Cena, and in Cena's words, a future Hall of Famer. Anyway, they talk about how him and Cena they're going to talk about how Cena and Rock are going to got at Survivor Series. So you never know. Anyway, Awesome Truth comes in. And they start beating down on Cena when Cena's partner for tonight comes out. The woo kid, Long Island IC, Zack Ryder. Calm down, Joe. Calm down. I know. Calm down. Anyway, they fight him off, and we segue into our first match: Dolph Ziggler versus John Morrison. And today we're going to play the game that America's fastest rising game. Who John Morrison is going to job to this week. For what it's worth, this was a good opening match. Very long, and there was some great ground movements and great ground techniques done by both guys. So I was very surprised. There was not very little high flying done by John Morrison. The finish comes when Dolph attempts to go for a roll up, but instead is countered into another roll up by John Morrison. 1, 2, 3. Dolph Ziggler wins. Wait. John Morrison won that match? Holy fucking shit, there is a God. That's right, folks, you heard me right. John Morrison, after months and months of jobbing like crazy, finally won a match. And against the United States champion to boot. So, kudos to you, sexy. Next up, Mason Ryan versus JTG. This was a squash match in every sense of the word. JTG had no offense, he didn't sell very much, and he pretty much got crushed. Or as I would say, if I was a Britter, he got straight up jolly stomped, mate. Yep. Next up, Alberto Del Rio versus Kofi Kingston. Now, if you haven't been listening to the online community lately from the IWC, you would know that Evan Bourne has been suspended for wellness violations. Apparently he got caught with some of that, you know. This match was pretty short. It was mostly just ADR just showing off, and he pretty much crushes Kofi. As he's beat, then he makes him tap out the cross arm breaker. As he's torturing him, CM Punk comes out to the loudest pop that anyone has gotten on this show before. The Brits do love CM Punk. This segues into a Alberto Del Rio CM Punk promo. Alberto Del Rio talks about again how it's his destiny to become champion. CM Punk, of course, says that Alberto Del Rio is one-dimensional, that he really has nothing beyond his whole destiny speeches and whatnot. So ADR says that he's giving Punk a choice to rescind the title match they have at Survivor Series or he'll make him. Wink. Punk takes a long time to think and says no. There's a small scuffle. Punk fights his way out of it, and poor Ricardo Rodriguez is on the receiving end of yet another beating. Do they have workman's comp in Mexico? Next up, it's Jack Swagger versus Santino Marella. Apparently, losing to Beaker with the help of Beaker didn't sit well with Jack, so now he has a new thing where his eye ticks. I missed a good chunk of the first part of the match because my cable was messing up, but for the remainder of the match, it was mostly just Jack Swagger dominating. He wins with the ankle lock and does his victory lap around the ring. Next up, Kelly Kelly has a promo in which no one cares about her being on the cover of Maxim magazine. Now, if it was on the cover of Playboy magazine, then that's something to be excited about. But Maxim, can't even pop a boner for that one. Anyway, she talks about how 5 years ago when she joined the company, she was still a kid. Now she's a kid who can't run the fucking ropes. The Sisters of Salvation, a.k.a. Beth Phoenix and Natalya, come to the ring and pretty much rip into her about being Barbie, which is pretty funny. Then Kelly Kelly counters by saying, why don't you two should be on the cover of National Geographic. And I actually agree with her on this. I would love to see Natalya and Beth Phoenix on the cover of National Geographic. Hopefully not wearing anything on top of their other chests. But anyway, out comes Eve Torres and Alicia Fox, causing the sisters to stand down. There's only one person in that ring that those two should be afraid of, and that's Eve Torres. One of this girl and her other two friends, well, one of them can't run the fucking ropes and is uninspiring in the ring, and the other will probably cripple them just by breathing on them. So, yeah. Didn't care for this segment. Next up, Kevin Nash returns. He talks about his first experiences with Triple H, talks about why he did what he did, and, well, basically he was flubbing a lot of lines. He said, and I'm quoting here, that after he made his return to the Royal Rumble at the Royal Rumble, he asked Triple H if he wanted to get the band back together. He said, and I quote, "Not only did he tell me no, I got no response from him." So which is it, Kev? Either he told you no, or he gave no response to you. You can't be both. That's impossible. Because no is a response. Yeah, didn't care for it. Backstage, we have Johnny Ace trying to be a heel, but failing because he just comes off as a dickweed. And, of course, Carlton Banks, a.k.a. David Otunga, still sipping whatever the fuck he's been drinking for the last couple of months. Punk comes out, and he pretty much gets in Johnny Ace's face with him not doing jack shit about it. Otunga decides to open his dumb mouth, talking about how a champion shouldn't be dressed look like he works at a gas station. David Otunga, you are closer to the title than I am to the title. I mean, the chances of you winning the world title right now are the equal same chance of me winning the world title right now. Do the math. Anyway, Punk lays into him and beats his bow tie off of him, because bow ties are cool, when ADR jumps him. And then comes the funniest and most lamest line of the night. Johnny Ace, in that raspy voice, is screaming, "Hey, get off of him! Don't make me take off my jacket!" Because if there's one thing you should fear in professional wrestling more than bottles of water, it's Johnny Ace threatening to take off his jacket. Because a naked Johnny Ace is an ugly Johnny Ace. Then we move on to the main event. Awesome Truth versus John Cena and the woo-woo-woo kid, Zack Ryder. Stop it, Joe. I know you're excited for him. Just calm down. Anyway, this was a pretty decent match for what it was worth. The crowd was hot for Zack Ryder. I may not like the guy personally myself, but I can agree that he's pretty over with the crowd. And they really love him. They love him more than Cena. Anyway, long story short, Awesome Truth wins via outside shenanigans. I'll leave that up to your imagination. And that's Raw in London. My thoughts, kind of a mixed bag show. There were some great matches involved, especially with John Morrison picking up a win. But there were some segments that really didn't need to be there. Kevin Nash's promo was sketchy at best. Johnny Ace trying to be threatening was blah. And that whole Maxim magazine thing with the Divas, I didn't really care for it. But yeah, that was Raw. And those were my thoughts. Tune in this Friday. Sorry, I'm still on the TNA boycott. Tune in this Friday when I will try to review WWE SmackDown. What will be the fallout from the Big Show and Mark Henry's upcoming match? Will it be able to contain their massive of humanity? Who knows? But until then, this is shintigercurl, that dude in the straw hat, and Joe. What? Fine. Hold on for a second. Woo, woo, woo. You knew it. Now fist pump me, boy. I'm not fist pumping you. Fist pump me, you whore! Fine. Congratulations, Zack Ryder. I knew you could do it. And that's not fist pumping, that just looks dirty. That's the best you're gonna get, now take it and leave. Fine. This is shintigercurl's shitty little TV show saying good night, and I garfunkeled your mother.